Good evening, everyone. What then is the problem in trying to define e-education, and how has that evolved over time? Well, electronic education or e-learning could easily have involved the use of a radio or the use of television, and in fact electronic learning has been around for some time. However, with the introduction of the web, this changed people's understanding of what electronic education actually meant, or e-learning. The education idea is the big umbrella, I think. The e-learning is what we do as students, and what happens for that learning to happen is what teaching and teachers involved in e-learning have to address. The changes are incredibly complex because there are attitudinal changes, there are changes in definitions. One writer in particular, I can't say her name, Drenoliani, she talks about ICT not just as information communication technology, but she talks about it in terms of its pedagogical uses, in terms of the tools, but she also talks about it as the developmental and operational skills. So she divides ICT into those two categories, which I think is quite unique. Of course, it's all about the student being able to connect with the material online, being able to understand that distance learning in the past was one thing, didn't necessarily mean electronic. However, now the lines are blurred, and when we think of distance learning, we think automatically of using the internet, and how the internet has impacted our understanding of distance education has actually had to change. And what we do with that, we would do sending a book to a student, getting them to fill it out and taking it back, giving them some input, evaluating that work, and then the toing and froing via the post. Whereas this is more instant. This is asynchronous, obviously, but with synchronous communication we can evaluate each other's information, we can evaluate each other's understanding, and each other's ability to, if you like, collaborate and come to some kind of understanding of what it is, the context of what we're learning. So I think there is a huge amount of information that I just cannot get into this 4-minute video, but I appreciate that part of this e-learning is being able to come to grips with the tools, being more concise with the language, and some of these are not only the problems but also, I think, the advantages of e-learning and e-education. Something that I found really interesting is some of the definitions, so I really want to quickly read two definitions in particular, the one being from the Ministry of Education, which says that e-learning is actually what is enabled or supported to use information and communication technology, including internet, mobile phones, video conferencing. Participation is both the learner and ability to succeed with study is part of this whole e-learning definition. Another really interesting study that I found, which I really have just taken to, is towards an inclusive definition of e-learning. And don't mind the dog, that's my timer. And just wasted my time. And their definition has come from hordes and hordes of literature analysis, and from a type of this is the Delphi method, which is their method of carrying out questionnaires and information and collaboration and around the entire globe by professionals and people involved in e-learning and what they think it is. And this massive collaborative effort to try and get a concise definition, I think, is really, really cool. And so that, to me, kind of just tidies it all up, and it says that it's a form of teaching and learning, which may represent a part or the whole of the education model in which it is used, again, fit for purpose. It makes use of electronic media and devices to facilitate access, to promote evolution, and involve the quality of education and training. And I think that really pretty much encompasses it all. So, good night.